A lot of people ask me, what is it like being, the CEO of your own company at 19, and how do you see that affecting how other people look at you? And the way that I think about it is, good entrepreneurs turn the worst situation into the best situation. I'm Gautam Bhargava. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Peer, and we're based in McKinney, Texas. Peer is a peer education marketplace that recruits really extraordinary high school and college students, and it connects them to their peers for in-person tutoring sessions. People can go on our website or app, enter a time, location that they want a tutor, and we just send it to them. It is as easy as using Uber and calling a ride. We wanted to kind of flip the model and use students as the teachers as opposed to hiring teachers to be teachers. I think the education system is really broken. I think students are incredibly uninspired. Blindly learning because they want the grade, they want to go to a good college, but they never take the time to actually learn things that they're passionate about. Another big issue is this idea that students who come from wealthier socioeconomic backgrounds have access to more resources, have access to more inspiration. They have the inspiration from their parents and the support from their parents. Whereas, on the flip side, you might have a lower income student who's the first student to go to college in their entire family. They don't have that same level of support and empowerment and access to resources. My parents moved here from India in the late 90s to study and go to school. My mom's a doctor, my dad's an engineer. The thing that mattered to my parents was the grades. If you got an A, why didn't you get an A+? If you got a 99, why didn't you get 100? We had a tutor who came weekly. They signed me up for a very expensive college prep program that was $3,000. I lived in a bubble all of my younger life. I went to a school that was really close. It was in an affluent neighborhood. However, after that, I went to a middle school that was in a lower income neighborhood. McKinney has a busing policy where you go to a middle school that's based on where you live, and I was zoned for a school that was on the other side of McKinney. I started seeing that divide when I got to kind of get out of my bubble, when I got to see what it was like to care more about, eating your next meal than what you did on your test. I was student council president, getting the highest grades, being involved in the most clubs, being the best student. It was all about being the person who had the most on their high school resume. The big defining moment for me in high school is I got a chance to meet a new person, and his name was Jed. When he was a sophomore, he made the decision to drop out of school, and he joined a presidential campaign as a photographer. Because I had always been in this realm where academics and college was the only way to get to success. The idea of Peer has always kind of been rooted in me since I got an opportunity to meet Jed, because he was the teacher that really inspired and I connected with. He was a year older than me, and he had taught me more about myself and more about my journey than any other teacher that I ever met. My parents always said, worry about your passions later, get your degree first. And to be honest, I never even really thought about what I was passionate about. I thought about all the hours, all the countless amount of time, all the yelling at my house for the grades. I didn't feel like I was more prepared for the workforce. I didn't feel like I was ready to go to college. I started working pretty closely with Jed. We launched a program to teach students, and I just learned a lot in a very short period of time. I started caring a lot very deeply about getting students more inspired to do the things that they want to, getting students more access to resources. If I want to inspire students to find their passion and actually go do something about it, I have to prove it's possible. I would be a hypocrite if I was passionate about education and I wanted to make a change, but I stayed in the same system that was causing it. I knew I had to get out of the system. I knew I had to do things that were completely different than what people wanted to do. So I left the system, and I made the decision to drop out in my junior year of high school, and I started Peer. Growing up in an ethnically Indian family and hearing that from your son was, I think, painful for my parents. I don't think that dropping out is for everybody, and I don't think that being an entrepreneur is for everybody. If you are confident enough in your passion and yourself to know that you can do something, then there shouldn't be any obstacle to stop you. I had taken a lot of my journey and my experience and kind of made that the DNA of what I wanted to, the solution that I wanted to build. And that's how peer was formed, this idea of taking super inspirational students and connecting them with other students to inspire them, to empower them, to give them the resources that they need to be successful. You know, tutoring doesn't have to be unsexy. Learning doesn't have to be unsexy. You know, what if we took this idea of finding someone who is so extraordinary, passionate about what they do, that when you have a 1-hour tutoring session with them, that passion is tangible, that inspiration is tangible. We've had tutors who, you know, have grown up homeless and gone on to Ivy League universities, who've won incredible scholarships for doing research and in medicine and psychology. We launched in McKinney. We're all over DFW right now. Our big markets are McKinney, Frisco, Allen, Plano, Richardson, a little bit of North Dallas. Platform charges $30 an hour directly for a weekly tutoring session. We give 60 to 70% of that to the tutor. Being a high school or college student and being able to make, you know, $22 an hour is incredible. I think that some of the companies doing the expensive tutoring and programs, they aren't thinking about the education system as a whole. They're just thinking about making, you know, quickest buck. We don't want to be that company. You know, the impact that we want to have is if we could inspire the next Bill Gates, or find that person who gets so empowered and inspired by meeting with someone who helped to get them there, that they started the next big thing. When you do something that's not the status quo, that people are scared first, and people don't understand what you're trying to do, and they might ridicule you. They might not think what you're doing is the right thing to do. But at the end of the day, you have to be persistent. You have to care very deeply about the vision and the purpose. And if you can do that, you will convince people that whatever you're doing is impactful, and that whatever you're doing can become the new status quo, or the new big thing. And that's the way I think about peers.